Peace. I'm Rami Salam El, and I thank you for joining us. Before we get started, I just wanted to make a disclaimer so that if you've been watching some of these videos, you understand the purpose and the meaning behind it, whether it be with Ali Shakur, Brother Polite, Sa Netta, David Banner, whoever or anybody that I am addressing specifically or personally. It is not to demean or defame them or to like belittle them as a person. The purpose for this is to present to you the truth. Um, there's many people on the internet and YouTube and different sites that are putting forth information, and I've noticed that a lot of them mix in lies with truth and make very misleading statements. And I realize that although I can decipher the difference in when they're being honest and when they're injecting their opinion or their bias into something, I realize that a lot of people may not be able to do that. So when I do these videos, that's the reason why I'll show a clip of them and then I will elaborate or point out some things that they said that's not accurate. So I just wanted to make that clear before we get started. Um, because I also realize that in doing these videos, sometimes I get a little bit into my ego, and there's a part of it that is poking at the people, but it's not meant with malicious intent. It's not meant to truly harm them. It's like sparring with words, if you will. Um, with that being said, let's get to work.
What's up, y'all? Ali Shakur, Third Eye Jedi, with another video. Today we want to touch on a very sensitive topic. This is called Black versus Moors. And I just like to just clear the air and give y'all a lot of facts right here so people know where I stand on this matter. Because y'all hit me on Twitter saying I'm bogus. Y'all hitting me on the YouTube channel comments saying I'm bogus. So I'm going to hit y'all with facts, straight up facts. And I'm going to give y'all books and references.
Hold it, Mr. Shakur. Before you get into your facts about Black versus Moor, I wanted to give some facts about your name because I feel it's very key in this discussion. And we're going to leave aside Shakur and how that's one is in the Quran, I found out, as one of the names of Allah. But aside from that, it's also connected to the Moorish revolutionary Tupac Umaru Shakur. And I don't mean the MC or the rapper Tupac. I mean the revolutionary from the 1500s, from South America, the indigenous American, the Moor. I'm going to set that aside and let's just focus on Ali. Here's a fact. There was a great American boxer, one of the greatest boxers, possibly the greatest boxer of all time. He initially had the name Cassius Clay, a Roman name. He joined the Nation of Islam and changed his name to Muhammad Ali. I know what you're thinking. What does that have to do with Noble Drew, Ali, and the Moors and the Moor Science Temple of America? It's a great question. Let me provide another fact for you. And this is coming from The Soul of a Butterfly, Reflection on Life's Journey, Muhammad Ali. This is Muhammad Ali right here in the picture, right there, if you didn't know. I'm going to be reading from page 61. 6 plus 1 is... never mind. My faith has evolved over the years, and I now follow the teachings of mainstream Sunni Islam. But a part of me will always be grateful to Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam for opening my eyes and giving me something greater than myself to fight for. Changing my name was one of the most important things that happened to me in my life. Let me read that one more time. Changing my name was one of the most important things that happened to me in my life. It freed me from the indignity done to my family by slave masters who took away our family name and gave my ancestors the master's name, like they weren't human beings, only property. Very, very important. And what does this have to do with Noble Drew Ali, the Moorish Science Temple? Let me give you another fact. The Nation of Islam, Elijah Muhammad, W.D. Farad or Master Farad, they didn't start the Nation of Islam, the NOI, that movement, officially until 1930. Okay? Prior to 1930, those individuals, Elijah Muhammad, W.D. Farad, and many of the Nation of Islam's members were actually members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And who founded the Moorish Science Temple of America? I got that for you. Hold on. This guy, right here. Noble Drew Ali. Isn't that interesting? Ali. Just like Muhammad. Ali. Just like Ali Shakur. Interesting. Interesting. I just wanted to point out that fact before we even continue. So now let's get to the discussion. Just one more fact. Sorry. Then we'll get to Ali Shakur. Just so you know. The Nation of Islam, 1930. Noble Drew Ali, the Moorish Science Temple of America, which actually the name was changed from the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, which actually was changed, and it was originally the Canaanite Temple. That movement was started in 1913. Nation of Islam, 1930. The Moorish Science Temple and Noble Drew Ali, 1913. Drew Ali was on the scene 17 years before the Nation of Islam. Just so we're clear. But let's get to Ali Shakur's facts.
Moor means black, according to Ivan Van Sertima, Golden Age of the Moors. This is practically the Holy Grail on the Moors. In this book, he says the word Moor meant black. It meant black people. In ancient times, all Africans were called Ethiopians or Cushites. Africa's a very...
The Golden Age of the Moor, huh? I have it. Much love, respect to Ivan Van Sertima. But that's not the Holy Grail. I mean, I also have, just for the record, The Moors in Spain. The Story of the Moors in Spain by Stanley Lane Poole. Also not the Holy Grail. And The Golden Trade of the Moors by Edward William Boville. Also not the Holy Grail. Much respect, appreciation for their works, great works. You should pick them up if you have the chance. But Moors don't consider those texts the Holy Grail. And never mind the fact that Holy Grail is connected to Christianity and all of that. Never mind that. We just don't look to those books as the Holy Grail. But there is some text that we do look to, that we would consider the Holy Grail, if you will. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, and the Quran Questions for Moorish Americans or Moorish Children. This is the Quran Questions. I'll read question here real quick. Question 90. Can a man be a Negro, black, colored, or Ethiopian? The answer is no. Simple. But let's get a little deeper. Let me provide you with some more facts, if you will. We're going to go to chapter 47. And please, Mr. Shakur, I would advise you to look this chapter up. And the people watching, look this up for yourself. Don't believe me. I don't want you to believe me. I want you to know. And if I'm wrong, please point me out and say, hey, you were wrong about that. Chapter 47, line 9 of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. According to all true and divine records of the human race, there is no Negro, black, or colored race attached to the human family. So, no, Moor doesn't mean black because black is not attached to the human family. Further, it reads, because all the inhabitants of Africa were and are of the human race, descendants of the ancient Canaanite nation from the holy land of Canaan. Interesting fact about Drew Ali's temple. The first temple that was established was the Canaanite temple. Interesting. But I'm not going to stop there. We're going to keep going and continuing on to line 17. And it states, that is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774, and the word Negro, black, and colored was given to the Asiatics of America who were Moorish descent, because they honored not the principles of their mother and father, and strayed after the gods of Europe, whom they knew nothing of. So, for the record, factually, Moor does not mean black. Not according to what you would consider the holy grail for Moors. I know what you're thinking. Well, that was just the religious text, and I'm not into religion, and I'm not trying to be a Muslim and Islam, so I'm not buying none of that. No problem. It's all good. Let's move out of belief and into knowing. It's the age of information, right? It's not believe what Ivan Van Sertima said or what Ali Shakur is claiming that Moor means black. And even though the Holy Quran explicitly says that we are not blacks or Negroes or coloreds or Ethiopian, so we know that it's saying that we're Moors, and it's also saying that we are not blacks and Negroes and coloreds, so we can put those two facts together and come up with a conclusion that Moor does not mean black. But let's put that aside. Let's not believe that information or take that information as true. How about let's look into a dictionary, a book that has the meanings of words. It's what the dictionary is. First, I'm going to read out of Webster's Dictionary of the English Language, unabridged edition. And I'm going to be reading from page 1167. And here, Moor is defined as a member of a Muslim people of mixed Arab and Berber descent living in northwestern Africa. And 2 is defined as a member of a group of this people that invaded and occupied Spain in the 8th century AD. So, Muslim people, and that's Moslem, which is a little bit different than Muslim, but they're connected. Says that Moors are Muslim people, that Moors were living in northwestern Africa, and they are connected to and descendants of Arabs and Berbers. And historically, this is fact, this is not my belief or opinion on the matter. Historically, you can look it up for yourself. Moors were referred to as Arabs, Berbers, Saracens, and Muslims, known as all 4 of those, as well as Moors, but all speaking about the same people. Not black, though. You see, that definition didn't say black. It didn't say Moor, number 1, black people. Didn't say that. But let me just read from another one, Oxford American Dictionary, just so we're thorough with the facts, if you will. Make sure that we put enough on record. And if you're watching this, I advise you to just type into Google or Bing, define Moor, and see what comes up. Moor, and this is on page 1107. 7 again. A member of a northwestern African Muslim people of mixed Berber and Arab descent. Okay, now they're including African and Muslim, which is a little bit different than Muslim, but they're connected. And again, Berber and Arab descent. And then it continues and says, in the 8th century, they conquered the Iberian Peninsula, but were finally driven out of their last stronghold in Granada at the end of the 15th century. So another correlation to the other definition, which was talking about a group of these people who went into Spain in the 8th century. Facts, history. Look it up. Don't believe me. But here's something interesting. It has the origin. And it has from Old French more, M-O-R-E, and via Latin from Greek modus, inhabitant of Mauritania. Okay, inhabitant of Mauritania. And so now you can go look up Mauritania and see where that was historically and understand that there's a culture and a connection with those people. And then what you can do from there is look up their history and find out what people they were connected to. But what doesn't it say in here? What doesn't it describe or define Moor as? Black. So, the fact of the matter is, Moor does not mean black or black people or people of color or African Americans or Negroes or niggas or black Americans or Afro Americans. Doesn't mean any of those. Okay? Fact? Good? Let's continue.
Africa's a very huge continent. You can take all the other continents and they fit inside Africa. For you to say that we are just Moors is a diss to all of our ancestors. We had Cushites, we had Kemites, we had the Dogon tribe, we had the Incans. I mean, it goes on. There were thousands and thousands of tribes that we had across this globe. For you to say that we're just Moors is asinine.
With all due respect, that argument or that statement is asinine. Because if you look in the definition that I just read, it shows clearly that Moors are connected to Arabs, to Berbers, to Muslims, to Africans, to Northwest Africa, to Mauritania. It wasn't in those two definitions that I read, but also Saracens. So you have all of those histories and all of that culture that we're connected to just off the definition alone. Never mind being the descendants of Moroccans, so you have the connection with Moroccan. Never mind that being connected to Moabite, so now you have the history of Moabites and Canaanites, as I read, and also Hittites and Amorites. So please don't get it twisted and think that Moors only believe we are Moors and nothing else. What we realize is that we're connected to all of it. And that Moor is how we connect ourselves back. Because we got disconnected when we became black, quote unquote, black people, when we were enslaved. But if you keep believing that we are only black people, then you are cut off, disconnected from the human family and all of our rich and illustrious history all over the globe. Moros is another one, the Philippines. Moreno, Morisco. Come on now, let's quit playing. Next clip.
Let's move on. Now, a lot of y'all say that we need to create nationality, and I agree. What we got to understand is that the Moorish Science Temple is not a nationality. They don't have a nation. How do I know this? Because they are registered 501c with the United States government. So how can you be sovereign? How can you have your own nation when your Moorish Science Temple is reporting to the United States corporation government? Miss me with the bullshit.
Ali Shakur, what's going on? Getting real conniving, real slick with the words. I like Brother Polite, but it's okay. We got the facts. Get you straightened right out. Quran questions for Moorish Americans. I'm going to go to page 1, question 13. And look it up at home. Don't believe me. Please don't believe me. Prove me wrong if you can. Or not me. Prove the information wrong. It's not even me. I'm just the messenger, if you will. What is your nationality? Moorish American. I'm going to stop right there. It doesn't say our nationality is the Moorish Science Temple of America. It doesn't say our nationality is the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. It doesn't say our nationality is the Canaanite Temple. And do you know why? Because those are organizations, not nations. And we understand this. We do also understand that our national name, our nationality, is Moorish American. And if you were wondering why, don't trip. We got that for you too. Next question. Why are we Moorish Americans? Because we are descendants of Moroccans and born in America. Real simple. Real easy. And I got it. The Temple 5013C, the U.S. government, blah, blah, blah. No problem. Yes, the temples and the movement were compromised. Yes, this is a fact. Just like all the other prophets and their movements, they had people that sold them out. Jesus, right? The silver, or Yahshua or Isa, if you want to get technical. He was sold out by Judas for some silver coins. Prophet Muhammad, he had to deal with a whole bunch of adversity and a whole bunch of people trying to stop the movement. And it's no different with Noble Drew Ali. There was people when he was on the scene and alive that tried to usurp his power and take over the movement and get in the seat and the position of the leader. And afterwards, we had people compromising the movement. And don't believe me, do the research. Just Google or search for Moor Science Temple of America and the FBI. And if you look on their site, the FBI's website, courtesy of the Freedom of Information Act, they have about 30 PDFs of their investigations of the Moor Science Temple of America from like the 1930s to the 60s. And you can see the testimony of, dirty Moors who sold out the temple and sold out the movement. And that's still going on today. You have some people that are doing it consciously with the feds. You have some people who don't have the feds on, but still selling out the movement. Still are working as agents for the U.S. De facto corporation posing as the government. Mr. Ali Shakur, could you be one of those people? I mean, if you're not, I apologize. It's just that when you push the "we're black" agenda, the black power agenda, it seems awfully like you're working with the U.S. government to keep the Moors, us, enslaved. I hope that's not the case. I hope you're about truth. But who knows? Agents are slick like that. Let's continue.
Moving along. Noble Drew Ali. Noble Drew Ali has plagiarized work. Noble Drew Ali is just like some of these other people that sit on Twitter and never gives references of where they get their knowledge from. Where did Noble Drew Ali get his knowledge from? Nobody knows, but I'm going to tell you. Edward Wilmot Blyden, Sheikh Ahmad Dean, Harvey Spencer Lewis, just to name a few. Harvey Spencer Lewis is somebody who practiced Rosicrucianism and was able to do out-of-body experiences. That's a whole nother topic. There's
Ali Shakur. Disappointed in you. And with the name Ali, named after the prophet, you're going to try to disrespect him, defame him, call him a plagiarist, say, well, where did he get his information from? Really? Really? It's your choice. You're going to have to own up to that. That's your karma, not me. But I'm going to get to these facts. Okay? And we're going to start with Rosicrucianism and then work our way back to Noble Drew Ali in the Holy Quran. Okay? I'm going to look up Rosicrucianism. And if you want to follow along, because you don't have to believe me, it's Rosicrucianism. Once again, Rosicrucianism. Rosicrucianism. And I'm just going to be reading from the Wikipedia site because this has more than enough information to show and prove fact from fiction, as Ali Shakur is trying to present. Rosicrucianism is a philosophical secret society to have been founded in late medieval Germany by Christian Rosicrucians. It holds a doctrine or theology built on esoteric truths of the ancient past, which, concealed from the average man, provide insight into nature, the physical universe, and the spiritual realm. Interesting. A little further down, it reads, Rosicrucian manifestos opposed Roman Catholicism and its preference for dogma over empiricism, similar to texts authored by the Protestant reformer Martin Luther. They traced their philosophy and science to the Moors. Let me read that again, just so we're clear. The Rosicrucians, they traced their philosophy and science to the Moors, asserting that it had been kept secret for 120 years until the intellectual climate might receive it. Whew. Okay. I'm going to get to this Quran. Just keep that in mind. It was kept secret until a certain time. Moors, Rosicrucianism. Let's continue just for a little more, just so we're clear. Down in the origins. Let's see. The year 1378 is presented as being the birth year of our Christian father, and it is stated that he lived 106 years. 1 and 6 is, never mind. After studying in the Middle East, another key, the Middle East, under various masters, possibly adhering to Sufism, he was unable to spread the knowledge he had acquired to any prominent European figures. Instead, he gathered a small circle of friends, disciples, and founded the Rosicrucian order. So this German doctor, the Christian Rosicruce, studied in the Middle East under several different masters. And Sufism, by the way, is a sect or a type of Islam, or a type of Islam, we'll just say, just for sake of conversation, a sect, if you will. And they actually, Sufis, wear fezzes. Okay? Now that we got that clear, we understand what Rosicrucianism is and where it comes from. Now let's get to the Holy Quran and Noble Drew Ali being a plagiarist and not knowing where the information comes from. First of all, the Holy Quran on the front cover, it says divinely prepared by the noble prophet Drew Ali. It doesn't say authored. It doesn't say written by. It doesn't say these are my words. These are Noble Drew Ali's words. You need to adhere to them. No, it says divinely prepared by Noble Drew Ali. Furthermore, first page, the intro, the preface page, it says, the reason these lessons have not been known is because the Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine had these secrets and kept them back from the outside world. Hold on. Palestine, India, and Egypt. Palestine specifically. That's also referred to as being in the Middle East. You know, like where it said in the on the Wikipedia page for Rosicrucianism, where it says that he was studying under various masters in the Middle East. Yeah. That's right. But let's continue because it gets a little deeper. The reasons these lessons have not been known is because the Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine had these secrets and kept them back from the outside world. And when the time appointed by Allah, they loosened the keys and freed the secrets. And for the first time in ages, have these secrets been delivered in the hands of the Muslims or Moors of America. Very interesting, because if we go back, it says the Rosicrucians traced their philosophy and science to the Moors, asserting that it had been kept secret for 120 years until the intellectual climate might receive it. So not only does Noble Drew Ali clearly say that it's not that he's claiming to be the author. No. And furthermore, on that fact, if you look into the historical record, you will see that Noble Drew Ali traveled to Egypt in 1901, 1902, and studied in the East, the Middle East, for 10 years, and then brought that information back to the Asiatics or the Muslims or the Moors of America. Hmm.
A lot of y'all claiming y'all white. Y'all white. Well, according to the Naturalization Act of 1870, white means persons belonging to the European races. So now y'all are saying y'all are European? Oh my God. Y'all niggas is agents. And you want to call me an agent? No, y'all niggas is some motherfucking agents. Oh man, y'all putting on blast.
Ali Shakur, I tip my fez to you. You get an A for effort. You are trying your damnedest, but you are not slick enough, buddy. Now let's get to some facts on the matter. Fact: Moors are not claiming to be white people. We are not using white as an identity. And of course, you know by now that we don't use black as an identity either. That's because they are not identities. They represent statuses. Black represents the status of a slave, the lowest status you can have, legal, political status. White has a different status. And I'm going to read to you first what white means in the United States. And this is according to the Federal Directive number 15. Please don't believe me. Look it up for yourself. This set the standards for race in the United States of America. And here it reads as follows: White, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, North Africa, or the Middle East. North Africa. Do you know what's interesting about white being connected to North Africa? The Moors, us, our ancestors, were in North Africa, sometimes referred to as North Africans as opposed to Moors. Fact. But I don't want to stop there, because I saw you kind of slick with the definition of free white person. So let's bring some clarity to that. See, you just presented a small image, an abridged version, but I have a Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, and it has the complete definition of free white persons. So let's see what it says, the part that you cut off. Coincidentally, huh? Just an accident. Let's see. It includes European Jews more or less intermixed with people of Celtic, Scandinavian, Teutonic, Iberian, Latin, Greek, and Slavic descent. It includes Magyars, Lapps, and Finns, and the Basque and Albanians. It includes the mixed Latin, Celtic Iberian, and Moorish inhabitants of Spain and Portugal, the Latin, Phoenician, and North African inhabitants of Sicily. Moorish inhabitants, huh? Now do you see? Now do you see why? And this is not what I made up. This was in the dictionary long before I was on this earth. Or at least this go around. But I don't want to stop there. I don't want to stop there. And just to bring it on home, to wrap it up real nice for you, Ali Shakur, I'm going to read something from the Quran Questions for Moorish Americans. And we're going to use our thinking caps for this one, all right? Question 93. Will you define the word white? White means purity, purity means God, and God means the ruler of the land. So, why wouldn't we want to have the status of a God? Psalms 82 and 6, if you're down with the Bible. Why wouldn't you want to be the ruler of your own land? A negus, like a king, right? Well, that's what this status represents. That's also why when we call European people white, they get to do whatever they feel. because now we are giving them the status of being pure, being God, being ruler of the land. And when we call ourselves and accept the status and the label of black, we become the slaves, the servants of our masters. It's real simple. The question is, why keep calling yourself black if you are not black? And if you know that black and white are statuses, why would you choose the lowest status? Does that make sense?
To something that you guys can probably relate to and put common sense to. You don't have to like look anything up. Post-mortem means after death. Post-mortem, after death. When you die, you go see a mortician. The mortician resides inside a morgue. If you are mortal, that means you can die. To be immortal means you can't die. Mortified, scared of death, scared to death. Mortality. What's the mortality rate? We're talking about the death rate. Rigor mortis. Rigor mortis is dead muscles. So now y'all say black mean death or more mean death? Y'all niggas don't look shit up.
First you said you're going to present something that we can use common sense with and we don't have to look it up. And then at the very end you say, y'all niggas don't look shit up. Sounds like you're a bit confused, sir. But hey, it's just my opinion. But never mind that. Let's get to some facts on the matter. I'm not even going to go into the whole mortish and more means dead because that's foolishness. All you need to do is study etymology, which is the science that shows you the root and the origins of words. That'll show you everything you need to know, as opposed to his mortician and mortgage and more. Okay, never mind all of that. But here's something that's very common sense that you don't have to look up. But as Moors, we advise you and humbly ask that you look it up, because believing is not what we want. Man knows not by being told. Just me telling you something, that's okay, but once you look it up and you confirm it for yourself, then you know. That being said, in Spanish, love is amor. And God is love. Love is amor in Spanish, and God is love. So God is amor. Next clip.
Let's move on. Problem here is everybody wants to put a label on shit. Anytime you put a label on something, you divide the people. What we need is unity. Doesn't matter what the fuck you call yourself. We need to just get together and figure out a fucking plan. Fuck what we call ourselves.
It doesn't matter what we call ourselves. We just need to come together and unite and come up with a plan. Okay. I mean, if that's what you want to believe and that's how you want to roll, hey, have at it. Whatever floats your boat, man. But if we're going by what you said, if it doesn't matter what we call ourselves, then why don't we call ourselves Moors? If it doesn't matter. And I mean, Noble Drew Ali has a plan already in effect, ready to go. And he has a way for us to unite. Nationality. Brought that information to us. You know, it's a fact that everybody else around the world has a nationality. And they can all unite with other people from their nation based on their principles. And we can do the same thing. And it's real simple. We have 5 principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Easy, right? So why don't you do it, Ali Shakur? Say, I'm a Moorish American. Say it. I'm a Moor and I'm proud. More power. Yeah, right? It doesn't matter. Right? We just need to unify. Get the plan going, right? Unless that's not what you want. Then it would make sense why you don't want to call yourself a Moor. But next clip. Let's keep going.
Y'all going around calling people dirty Moors and claim y'all spiritual, but people that are truly spiritual don't talk like that. So miss me with the bullshit.
I think I get it. It seems like you are just ignorant of the teachings and the information that Noble Drew Ali brought. And if that's the case, if you just don't know, it's okay. It's all right to admit, you know what, I'm ignorant. I don't know about this. But please don't try to quote things as if you know when you do not. Because the ones that do know are able to tell the difference. Here's a fact. The reason why we say dirty Moors is because we were told not to call people that are harming us and that are doing wrong, to not call them niggas or niggers, to call them dirty Moors by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So you see, when you hear people saying dirty Moor as opposed to nigger, we're actually doing our best to be as spiritual as possible and to follow the guidance of a prophet, a divine prophet that was sent here by Allah, which is the Arabic name for our Creator, Yah, Yahweh, the Most High, the All, God, etc. So don't try to play the games, okay? Miss me with the bull.
So, in conclusion, Ali Shakur says this: we are not black.
And it was like, oh!
Yes, you're getting it. We are not black people. Yes, you got it. All right? Now all you got to do is just say we are Moors. That's it.
We are not black. We are not Moors. What we are cannot be defined because we are gods, and God cannot be defined. Not by words.
Oh, what are you doing? Thought you had it. You had the first part, we are not black. Then you had to mess it up and try to say we are not Moors. Do some more studying, Ali Shakur. But before I go, I just want to leave you with one more fact. God. It's a definition. Interesting. The creator and ruler of the universe and source of all moral authority, the supreme being. I thought you said God couldn't be defined by words. And if we go down a little further into origin, just for the record, it says Old English of Germanic origin related to Dutch God and German Gott, G-O-T-T. So, in conclusion, we are not blacks, true, but we are Moors. Whether you want to accept it or not, Ali Shakur. And anyone else watching. It's okay if you want to believe that we're black. You have that right to believe whatever you choose. But your belief, know this, your belief does not become the fact for everyone else. It's just your belief. And with that, I say peace, much love to you. Islam.